So I'm just visiting Blender Magazine's list of the 50 worst songs of all time. And I'm reading through this list, and I have issue with what they consider the worst songs. Some of the songs on this list are very terrible, but there are a number that we have done episodes on. And the song we're doing today, Two Princes by Spin Doctors, makes it on this list at number 21, which I'm going to disagree with.
Also, Rolling Stone's top 10 worst bands of the 90s has Spin Doctors at number 8.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that. There are a lot of other terrible, terrible bands out there. The one thing I will agree with Blender is that Starships We Built This City is objectively a terrible song. So,
well, with them putting Two Princes in as a bad song says all we need to know about the rest of their opinion.
Yeah,
of course, I don't want to say that says something about your opinion too, but okay. I'm going to read a quotation from a famous film, the award-winning Dark Knight. It says, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that's what happens when you get a lot of radio play. Also, I'm going to add to it, but if you live even longer, you become a legend." And that's what we're talking about today.
The Legend of the Spin Doctors?
The Legend of Two Princes.
The Legend of Two Princes. Gotcha.
Won't you come back, baby? Just go ahead now. And if you like to tell me, maybe, just go ahead now. And if you like to buy me flowers, just go ahead now. And if you like to talk for hours, just go ahead.
The band Spin Doctors comes out of New York City. I think they more or less formed around 1989, right?
Yeah.
I think they've probably had other musical interests prior to that, but the band started in 89, and their first album, Pocket Full of Kryptonite, is the album that Two Princes comes off of. But a bit of a shock, John Popper, so the lead singer and harmonica player from the Blues Travelers, was originally in Spin Doctors too.
Yeah, they're at the same school of music. So lead singer Chris Barron and John Popper were both in school together, as well as I think a couple other members of the band too. And Chris Barron, lead singer of the band, when he came to the School of Music, his plan was just to get a band started and drop out. That was his plan. He said his brother was much smarter than he was academically, and he didn't want to screw his brother over and made sure there's money for him from his father.
Yeah.
So within the first semester, it sounds like they got together as a group. John Popper's in there. They're called, what was it called? The Trucking Company?
Yeah, Trucking Company, yeah.
Right. And so you have Aaron Kames, and Eric Shankman is from Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so right.
And he's the guitar player, Aaron the drums, and then they ended up having Mark White as a bassist once they formed as the official Spin Doctors.
Yeah.
Very popular on the bar band circuit.
Yeah.
And it sounds like things were tight. Like Blues Traveler would play with them as well. They'd interchange members and they'd sit in on each other's gigs. And so they had a huge following before they got signed. Mm-hmm. And even when they got signed, the first EP they released was a live album. They refused to release a studio album.
Oh, really? Oh,
and then they released Pocket Full of Kryptonite and had to battle to get singles put out. That's why it took so long.
Yeah, because Pocket Full of Kryptonite came out in 1991. The first single was 92 with Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. And I think it was 18 months after the album dropped that they released the second single, Two Princes, in 1993.
Yeah.
You have this massive spread between the album coming out and their big song. You really don't think that the band would have succeeded with this album with that sort of plan in place by the record company. Or not plan in place, but the way that they were handled, right?
It's shocking to me that a record company wouldn't hear this song and immediately think it'd be a big hit.
Yeah.
Because it's tough because we're looking back on this, but for us, we're both in grade 11 when this comes out. Wait, we're both in grade 10 when this comes out.
Okay, yeah.
And it was huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So do you remember when the first time you heard it at all?
I don't remember the first time I heard it, but I remember distinctly being on a bus. And there's two brothers on the bus. Like one was a couple years older, one was in our grade, and the older was like, "Hey, hook me up with some of that Spin Doctors," and playing that. And just I remember, and people kind of being like, "Yeah, the Spin Doctors are great," and all this. And it was just they had this really grassroots feel, or grassroots sort of popularity.
Yeah,
it was part of like I guess they would be one of those like early 90s jam bands, right?
Yeah. This is a type of music that was also something your parents would like too, because it had this feel to me that belonged into some of those pop rock music of the 70s.
Yeah.
We had Nirvana, Pearl Jam was big. I think Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
Because in '91, like that's when all those big albums were released, right? And this is coming kind of at the tail end of grunge, because grunge didn't last too much longer than 94,
Right.
94, 95 maybe.
Right. So this is coming out of New York, and it's tail end of grunge, so it has those elements of grunge,
Yeah.
but it's not grungy. But you have the drums, bass, guitar. There's
Yep.
no keyboard, there's no saxophone,
Yeah.
all that. This is that classic early 90s rock that we were used to anyways.
Yeah. And well, like you said, it was the gateway to Fish, but it was also sort of this gateway into college rock bands,
Exactly.
right? Who would expand on the sound, but it had that sort of, and I hesitate to say, but had that sort of dirty hippie feel about it, right?
Well, he had that beard and the longer hair because he hadn't cut his hair since they got signed. He cut
Yeah.
it in the next album. And he wore that sort of toque with
Yeah.
the strings on it that the kind of cool hippie kids kind of wore when we were
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah. I think he wore ponchos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He definitely wore ponchos.
Oh, for sure. Right off the hop, the song hits you. It has such a great kind of drum intro.
That opening, yeah.
Yeah.
It hooks you in, and
Yeah.
it's immediately fun. right?
Exactly. And it has that guitar riff. It's not, I don't want to say grungy because they're not grunge.
No.
But it's a 90s riff, but it's a little better too. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
guy
cleaner, right?
Yeah. And the guy playing is way better. Like Eric Shankman is way better than just your run of the mill guitarist. So once you get to that part where he does his solo, it's really, really good. And it's better than it ought to be for what the song seems to be.
Well, it seems like this is a band that came from some sort of a musical pedigree, right? You get the feeling that they studied music, right?
Right. And they did. So these are all people who studied music. And according to Chris Barron, they played together not because they're friends. So when they started, they weren't friends at all. It was just like, you're the best singer I know. You're the best guitarist. You're the best bassist.
Okay.
You're the best drummer. They said they went in and they worked. So they could hate each other. And sometimes they did.
Yep.
They'd get into arguments and then they go out and work. So this was a job, not a, hey, we're all a family here.
Almost like session musicians coming together and just creating a band and
Yeah.
and doing their thing, right?
So this is the early 90s Toto?
Yeah.
Not quite. Let's work through the verses.
Yeah, the story is about two princes, right?
Right. And it's from the perspective of what we would think as the pauper, but he refers to himself as a prince.
Yeah, I think maybe he's royalty and his heart song tells himself that he's royalty, so maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is, right?
Okay. Let's see. We'll figure this out because we're going to analyze it now.
Yeah.
So 1, 2 princes kneel before you. That's what I said now. Princes who adore you. Just go ahead now. One has diamonds in his pockets, and that's some bread now. This one said he wants to buy you rockets, ain't in his head now.
Princes kneel before you. That's what I said now. Princes who adore you. Just go ahead now. One has diamonds in his pockets, and that's some bread now. This one said he wants to buy you rockets, ain't in his head now.
I get the diamonds and bread and all that other sort of fun stuff, but the rockets don't make a whole lot of sense to me.
They don't. So a couple of theories I have working right now in my head is that maybe he does have money, but he deals with weapons.
Or he's Elon Musk.
So, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, good sort of rockets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not all rockets are bad.
All right. Right. That's true. This is a song where, because of the sort of jammy, jazzy
Yeah.
element, he includes words to help things move along.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if I were
yeah.
to cut out these sort of extra words, it'd be 1, 2 princes kneel before you, princes who adore you. One has diamonds in his pockets. This one said he wants to buy you rockets. So these are 2 different ones, though, right?
Yeah.
Diamonds and rockets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe he wants to buy her rockets so, they can go to the moon together or something like that. Maybe that's his dream.
Right. So one has the diamonds, the other wants rockets.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. Next verse. This one, he got a princely racket. Should I say that's what I said
That's
now?
what I say. Well, that's kind of like
Yeah,
in
it
between.
is.
Like that's that filler, that spacer, right?
Okay. All right. I'll keep the filler. Got some big seal upon his jacket. Ain't in his head now. You marry him, your father will condone you. How about that now? You marry me, your father will disown you. He'll eat his hat now. I never knew that was the lyric.
I know, right? Well,
There's so many things here.
There are so many lyrics that I didn't know were the actual lyrics for this song.
This one got a princely racket. That's what I said now. Got some big seal up on his jacket. Ain't in his head now. You marry him, your father will condone you. How about that now? You marry me, your father will disown you. He'll eat his head now. Marry him or marry me.
I have no idea what ain't in his head means. Does that mean he doesn't understand how a rich prince thinks?
Well, so I think he's talking about the rich prince, right?
Yeah.
And this is obviously the battle between 2 princes going after the same princess, maybe? I don't know.
For sure. She's
Yeah.
definitely a princess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the rich guy has a big seal upon his jacket, so he's got notoriety, he's got sort of that pedigree and everything.
Yeah.
And he's saying like it's not just in his head. It's like it's real, it's tangible.
Yeah. And so this is a Ivy League school guy.
Yeah.
Or like, I always think they're in high school, but this could be Ivy League school. He's got that seal and all this. And this other guy, he's just in a bar band.
Yeah. Well, literally.
Exactly. I like to eat his hat now because I've seen that in like old movies.
Yeah.
So, and now we move along to marry him or marry me. I'm the one that loves you, baby, can't you see? I ain't got no future or family tree, but I know what a prince and lover ought to be. I know what a prince and lover ought to be.
So that was often a misheard lyric too, right?
I never knew that's what he was saying.
Well, everything just sort of mashes into one. A lot of people thought it was either Princeton lover because Chris Barron came from Princeton, New Jersey,
Oh, yeah.
or prison lover.
Oh, that took a turn.
That takes
Yeah.
a big turn.
Yeah. I just thought it was, I know what a prince lover, like, oh, that's a type of lover, a prince lover.
Yeah.
Okay, and it makes a whole lot more sense.
Marry him or marry me. I'm the one that left him, baby, can't you see? I ain't got no future or family tree, but I know what a prince and lover ought to be. I know what a prince and lover ought to be. Said, if you
What do we know about this man? He's got no future or family tree, so we know he doesn't have really any prospects for whatever he's into.
But he's got love.
He does.
He's got love.
Is love enough?
Yes.
If you ask Don Henley and Patty Smythe, they'd say no.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, but if we ask Chris Barron, he says yes.
I think he believes that love is enough.
Yeah. Do you think love is enough, Frank?
I think love can, I don't know. Yes.
So now to the chorus said, if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. If you like to tell me maybe, just go ahead now. If you want to buy me flowers, just go ahead now. And if you'd like to talk for hours, just go ahead now.
be said, if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. And if you like to tell me baby, just go ahead now. And if you want to buy me flowers, just go ahead now. And if you like to talk for hours, just go ahead now.
That's a big sort of switch. If you want to buy me flowers, is he talking to the princess about
Yeah.
her buying him flowers? There's this great song called I Want to Buy You Flowers. It's by a French singer called Emily Simone. Mm-hmm. And the premise of it is she wants to buy this boy some flowers, but the line is, I want to buy you flowers. It's too bad you're a boy. And the whole idea is that the only time a woman buys a man flowers is when the man is dead.
Oh,
Buys flowers for the grave.
maybe. Well, is this Do you think the father might try to kill him?
I think maybe.
Okay, well, that's certainly possible now. That really opens things up. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, this took a really dark turn. This fun song took a really, really dark turn about prison lovers and dead guys.
Well, he's got no future family tree because he's dead. He's a dead branch on a tree. Oh, this is a ghost story.
Is Chris Barron a Dracula, maybe?
He could be. He would do anything for love.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, with the song, it just repeats and repeats.
Yeah.
In some ways, almost feels repetitive if you're listening to the album version, which is 4:16, but the one on the radio, the single version, was like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they cut it back.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that really helps elevate the song, I think, is that electric guitar solo.
Yeah, that really pushes things through, right?
Yeah.
It breaks it up so it doesn't sound so repetitive all the time.
And he plays with the themes he finds in the song, adds extra things to it, moves around, and it's almost like one of those talking guitars.
Yeah.
I went to a podcast to learn all about this. I'm going to put it in the show notes because it was excellent. So it was from Strong Songs, and they talked about all the special things this did. I was going to try to quote it, but I immediately forgot all the musical terms. But it's really good. So the words repeat, but there is a shift where you have that. I don't know if it's like a bridge because it's right near the end, but oh, baby, just go ahead now. Just go ahead now. Oh, your majesty, just go ahead. Come on, forget the king and marry me. Just go ahead now. I like that part a lot.
Yeah, it's not a bridge because it's, like you said, it's right at the end, but it's a nice little ender for the song, right? It doesn't just keep repeating that chorus over and over and over again. It takes a different bit of a play on it.
And it brings up the dad as the problem, not the other prince.
Yeah.
So there isn't really a competition by the end. It's the dad who's going to eat his hat.
Yeah.
But really, the other prince...
The old hat-eating dad.
Yeah. Instead, it's like, forget the king and marry me. Like, leave the castle. So she is a princess because he's the king. Do you think he's got a shot at this?
I think he's got a shot. I mean, he's in a band, right? So that makes him cool.
Yeah.
So
does he make it into the 2000s, or does she put him on her own Rolling Stone list of suitors that she's no longer interested
50 worst suitors? I don't know. I think there's a positive end to this.
Okay. All right. Good.
And it might not happen right now, but I think they end up together eventually.
All right. I like this. You said you had something to say about Just Go Ahead Now?
Yeah. So it's repeated throughout through the song, obviously. So there's a friend of the band. His name was Mickett Wilder, and I'm hoping that I have that
name.
right. Yeah, it's fantastic. He's an older guy that the guys from the band all kind of looked up to, and Chris Barron was working as a busboy, and he kind of reconnected with this girl that he liked from high school, and she wanted to meet up with him at the end of his shift, and Mickett Wilder just ran into him and Barron was telling him the story about, this is happening, and it's this sort of affirmation. It's like, go ahead now, go on, go ahead now, go do this. Like, this is like, he was encouraging. So that's where that line came from. He really liked the line. So he just like, this is an encouraging line. So this is making it into the song. And I mean, they say it like 87 times in the song too. So
they do say it a lot. Yeah. I like Chris Barron's social media presence. He's on Twitter and he's always responds to people. He's pretty funny. Yeah. I was impressed in his willingness to talk about his music, and he talks about how he still likes playing this song.
Oh, okay.
That he likes his songs. He likes that people come to see it. And he said they don't play it exactly the same every time because they have a background musically where they can improvise a little bit,
Yeah,
but
they
they
can
don't
riff and everything,
Yeah,
right?
they don't Bob Dylan it.
No.
So you still know the song you hear.
Yeah. But it is a fun song. I can imagine that it would still continue to be a fun song to play.
I also, just as a listener, I think that it got played so much, and it was the number one played song that year.
Yeah.
And it did get played everywhere you went, that it became something you just would turn off. But as they kept playing it, it's almost like it just came back to becoming endearing.
Yeah, it comes full circle.
Yeah.
In a quick hurry.
Yeah. So re-listening to it just last week, I'm like, oh man, this is a good song. This is fun.
I think I had it on one of my running playlists just because there's that tempo to it and everything. It like I said, it makes me smile when I hear it. It's a fun song, but lyrically it's about a struggle, like yearning after someone that you're kind of that second prince, right?
Right.
From his perspective, like it's an uphill battle. You're an underdog.
But he's enjoying the battle. So the song sounds like somebody who's got the right perspective.
Yeah.
You've met people like that who are like going for someone who's so-called out of their league, but they have such a positive outlook on life that it's like, okay, this is not impossible.
I'm right here, Bill. You don't. Okay. Let's try not to be coy here.
Okay. You have such a positive outlook.
Do I, though?
Okay.
I'm always that second prince. Holy cow.
Yeah. All right, the music videos. There's 2 music videos.
I only saw the one.
Yeah, the one, did you see the one that was like kind of black and white and they're just kind of playing around? It's sort of a nothing much video, a typical 90s video to me.
Yeah, they had
like
that kind of like, and they had that sort of like that vaudeville, the script and everything sort of explaining the scene or whatever. And but it was basically a pantomime for the song, right? Like 2 guys, both going after the same girl. One guy has a better shot than the other, and it's obviously the underdog that we're rooting for there, and for that the song's being sung from his perspective.
The other video is like a promo where he was wearing a crown in part of it and dancing around and just kind of goofy, and then it was a concert scene.
Oh, okay.
I preferred that video.
Okay.
Just because it wasn't as jumpy as the official. I'll post them both.
Yeah.
In the show notes. Okay, let's take a look at the charts.
Yeah.
I made a point of taking a look at Canada, UK, and USA. Mm-hmm. So in the US, it was like the number one mainstream track. Like in terms of radio plays, it would be number one. But there's other things that go into Billboard, which I don't understand.
No.
But it made it up to number 7. So it's number 7 on its best week. Number 8 is Love Is from Vanessa Williams and Brian McKnight. Mr. Wendell's number 9. Bed of Roses.
Song.
Yeah. Bed of Roses, number 10.
And that's a song too.
Now, let's talk about the ones above it.
Yeah.
Number 6. You're sitting down. Okay, good. Cats in the Cradle. Ugly Kid Joe.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's awful. That is an awful song.
Well, the original's good.
Yeah. Jade, Don't Walk Away. I don't remember that song.
I vaguely remember it.
I Have Nothing, Whitney Houston. That's Bodyguard soundtrack.
Yeah.
Nothing But a G Thing, Dr. Dre. Number 3. Freak Me by Silk. Number 2. I don't know that one.
Please. That's a great song.
Oh, okay, I got to go back to that.
It's New Jack Swing.
Okay, number 1. Biggest reggae song ever.
Oh, Informer?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay. So there you go. That's US Billboards. In Canada, I'll just let you know that it got up to number 2. Mm-hmm. But Sting, If I Ever Lose My Faith in You, beat it out.
I like that the Canadian reggae artist didn't beat out in Canada. Yeah. That's fantastic.
We went with the original reggae, Sting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in UK, it made it up to number 3. And above it, All That She Wants, Ace of Base.
Okay.
And I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, UB40.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel that's a bit of an Ugly Kid Joe, but it's not Ugly Kid Joe. So.
No.
And they at least had Red Wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there you go. There's your charts. But you'd think with how much Two Princes gets played, it would be above all of these, because I hear Two Princes way more.
Oh, yeah. It endures more so than those other songs, I think.
Okay. Categories?
Yeah, let's hit some categories.
All right, so let's take a look at mixtape or song universe.
Okay. So I went with the theme of songs that Two Princes potentially opened the door for.
Okay.
So these are all mid-90s college rock
Oh, good. Okay.
not bands, but college rock sort of music, right?
Yep.
So Ants Marching, Dave Matthews Band.
Good call.
All I Want, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Okay.
Everything Falls Apart, Dog's Eye View. Closer to Free by the Bodines. And then Hey Jealousy, Gin Blossoms.
Oh, good. That's good. That's a good call. Hey, Jealousy, very close. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way. Okay. For my mixtape, which is actually, we just put it in as one playlist, but
Yeah.
for mine, I was going to do Overplayed 90s.
Oh, okay.
But then I changed it to Songs Within the Universe.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
go back. So these are songs about choosing between two lovers
Ah.
or trying to win someone over who's not your current lover and they're with somebody else.
There's one of them called Frank's Song.
That was Let's Hear It for the Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. There's so many songs we do that are about me.
Yeah. First one is pretty close in sound and in topic. Hard to Handle, Black Crows.
Okay.
Okay. Next one, Take a Chance, ABBA.
Okay.
So take a chance on me.
Yeah,
Leave
yeah.
that other person. Taylor Swift, You Belong With Me.
Okay.
So that, and You Make Me Wanna, Usher.
Yes.
And then one more, which is right on the nose, Torn Between Two Lovers. Do you remember that song?
No.
Mary McGregor. Torn between two lovers, treated like a fool.
Okay. Okay. Vaguely remember this.
That is my mixtape, which will destroy the flow of your mixtape.
Yeah. Thanks.
Would this be a Hallmark movie?
I think it would be.
Yeah, I think pretty much this seems like a very typical Hallmark movie
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah. And it's the one where obviously the pauper wins out at the end.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty easy. Any sort of love story movie would do this.
Yeah. But it played on a number of different soundtracks too in the mid 90s too, right? This song?
Yeah.
The only one that's really coming to me right now is it played in a scene in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, right. Okay, that's now coming back to me. All right. Okay, I got a category that we've tried before.
Okay.
It's history of the time. So,
what's happening around in 93?
In 93, right around when it hits its peak on the charts. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do two parts. One is history, which is sad, and then pop culture history.
Fun history.
Yeah. So sad history has the Zambia football team all dying in that plane crash, the soccer team. Do you remember that? They lost the whole team. Sorry.
Thanks.
Okay, next.
What a downer.
I know. Waco happened right around. Yeah, that was actually literally around the time it was at its peak. Waco happened.
Yeah.
Monica Seles got stabbed.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And I'd like to also include this as one of the historical tragedies of the time, WrestleMania 9.
Oh.
Yeah. Hogan winning in 22 seconds over Yokozuna. Just, and the Giant Gonzalez and Undertaker, one of the worst matches ever.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
Lots of disqualification finishes. Terrible WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Now, we'll go to pop culture history of the time.
Okay.
Okay. All right. First, the pop culture history is, we're going to go with just TV shows and what happened. Because in a way, that really is the history, because we're teens at the time.
Yeah. We were watching lots of TV.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's go through that. So let's start with what happened on Murder, She Wrote at the time. Okay. In Lone Witness, a delivery boy is the only witness to a customer's murder. And that delivery boy, played by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. Fresh Prince.
It's amazing that delivery boy went to medical school and became Doogie Howser.
He could have been killed.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for Jessica Fletcher.
Yeah.
Always seemed to be around when there was a murder.
Jessica Fletcher could have been like history's greatest serial killer.
She has to be.
I think so.
Fresh Prince, 6 Degrees of Graduation. Clever play on words because that movie had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where Will is failing music, and then he has to sing at the graduation ceremony with a bunch of children so he can pass.
Okay.
Yeah. as a teacher, you can't really come up with that at grad night, because if he doesn't do it, then you can't fail him. They've already printed the transcripts.
Yeah, exactly.
Fresh Prince, come on.
Yeah.
Full House prom night episode. DJ and Steve go to the prom where Steve and his ex-girlfriend are announced king and queen of the prom.
Oh, and DJ, that's awkward for her.
That is. Good thing she dated that hockey player afterwards.
Yeah. Well, dated and married.
That's right. Wonder Years series finale.
Oh, okay.
By then, no one was really watching it.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So
Still a good show, though.
Good show. Simpsons Whacking Day, where they're going to kill all the snakes.
All the snakes, yeah.
Okay. My favorite Seinfeld episode, The Smelly Car.
Oh, okay.
That came out. Beverly Hills has a couple episode arc that culminates in Donna Martin Graduates.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. TV history.
Just go ahead now, and if you like to tell me, maybe just go ahead now.
So, other...
Scat?
Oh, yes, thank you. Special category. Who's the best scatter? Now, we're not going to include jazz musicians in this because that's unfair, but we're going to go with scatting outside of your lane.
So, like scatting in rock songs.
Yeah. So we have the famous scat in this song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll play it here. All right, now let's put it against some competition. A modern scat, Harry Styles scat in Songs for a Sushi Restaurant.
Okay, and that decent scatting there.
Decent, yeah. Now, who's winning that one? You're going to give it to Chris or you're going to give it to Harry?
I'm giving it to Chris.
Okay, Chris, you've beat out Harry Styles. Next up, you're going up against Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay, who's winning?
I still give it to Spin Doctors, Chris Barron.
Okay. Next up, Chris Barron versus Kim Cattrall.
Yamakipiebo, Sedere Fakebo, Windog Latin equals UJ, Sophus Hooray!
Oh, this is so terrible. Yeah, Chris wins this.
Oh, Chris wins this. Okay, well done, Chris.
That's a great list of like scatters, but we're missing David Lee Roth from Just a Gigolo. He might be the second Prince on this one.
Bozy, bozy, bop, city bop. I ain't got nobody. Humala baby, lizzy, billa, billa, humala baby, lizzy, billa, bop. I ain't got nobody.
All right, so if I'm the king, if I'm eating my hat with Chris Barron, I'm jumping into the river if it's David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
Chris Barron, you get the win.
Yes, absolutely.
And now, just to keep you humble, as every prince should be, here's Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Chris, you had a great run.
Sorry, Chris. You might be able to take down a prince, but you can't take down a king.
Yeah. I can't imagine a cover that works.
No. They did do a version of the song on Sesame Street, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not a cover because it was the Spin Doctors who did it, but...
I'm satisfied with the Muppets doing
Oh,
Spin
I think
Doctors.
so, yeah. I think the Muppets lend themselves to this song.
But this one says, if you try my wagon, how glad you'll be now. That one says,
Hey, he's only bragging, so please pick me now.
one says, he's got a tennis racket and a pool now. One says,
Hey, get my leather jacket, Prince almost cool now.
then you had a
here we are. We're looking at two princes and kind of the story that unfolds around it. And I think the song kind of resonates with us being underdog. Sometimes the podcast is a bit of an underdog.
Yeah.
But we want to thank all of our listeners who spend time with us every single week and listen to our episodes and enjoy the podcast, give us feedback and everything. I just want to say, like, if you would like to buy us flowers, you can go ahead now. And if you'd like to talk for hours the way we do, just go ahead now.
Thanks for listening to Bill and Frank's Guilt-Free Pleasures. Do-ba-do-do, ba-do-ba-do-do-do, ba-do-ba-do-ba-da-ba-dip-a-da-ba.